Hi everybody, it's Christina from Adventures in Polished Land, and today I have a book haul to share with you. I recently went to New York City, and as I do every time I travel there or anywhere really, I like to check out some local bookstores, and I came home with a nice stack of books. And I think you can tell as I'm doing this haul, I had Shorty September on the mind because I got a lot of short books, so hopefully I'll get some of them read this month, but let's jump right into the haul. The first store that I went to is Book Off, which is right outside of Times Square, and this has quickly become one of my favorite bookstores of all time. I always find a nice stack of books there. In fact, I think if I lived in the city, this would be my go-to bookstore, both for selling my own books and then buying new ones. They do price up some novels, especially new releases, but for the most part, you can find a lot of bargains. So I got a few there. The first one I got is The Dud Avocado by Elaine. Dundy. This is a NYRB classic, and I am trying out books from this independent publisher right now, so I don't know much about this at all, but it looked interesting, and I like the name The Dud Avocado. It says it follows the romantic and comedic adventures of a young American who heads overseas to conquer Paris in the late 1950s, so sounds interesting. This one was $5, and I will say I bought 4 books at this store, I believe, and she only charged me for 3, so I don't know if she did that by mistake, but I handed her my whole stack of books. She looked at all of them, and then she only charged me for 3, so that was really nice of her. Next up, I got a Europa Editions, which is the other publisher I'm trying out right now. This, I'm gonna need to open to the first page because the price sticker is right over the author's name. It is Nives by Sacha Naspini. It's translated from the Italian by Clarissa Botsford. This is a very small, slim volume, perfect for Shorty September. And this one seems like a similar concept. It says a novel of love and betrayal, loss and resilience. Nives brings to vivid life an unforgettable protagonist whose life story is an intoxicating mix of hilarious misadventures and deep pathos. So sounds right up my alley. And then this one stood out to me because of the colorful spine. This is Home Fire by Kamila, Shamsie, and this was the winner of the 2018 Women's Prize for Fiction. So I actually don't know anything about it, but I tend to like books that are winners or shortlisted for the Women's Prize, so I figured I would give this a go. And it says, Yzma is free. After years of watching out for her younger siblings in the wake of their mother's death, she's accepted an invitation from a mentor in America that allows her to resume a dream long deferred. So, sounds really gripping from that quick first sentence of the summary. So, given that it won the Women's Prize, I figured I would give this one a go, especially for $5. And then the last one that I got at Book Off is Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I actually don't know much about this book, but I read another book by Kevin Wilson called Perfect Little World, which I absolutely loved. I've been meaning to reread it for years now, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this one in particular, so I figured I would give it a go, and I would love to read more from him to see if he's an author that I should continue exploring every time he puts out a new release. This one says it's a beguiling and heartwarming novel about 2 old friends who are reuniting under the strangest of circumstances, and certainly something strange is happening on the cover, so I'm interested to find out more. The next store that I went to was Mercer Street Books. I had gone to the Village for a day to check out some of the shops there. I especially wanted to visit the Locavore Variety Store, which is a small shop in New York City that sells products made within 100 miles of the city. So it's a really cool place to find out about a bunch of local brands, and I got some stuff for myself and bought some Christmas gifts as well. And then this bookstore is a little bit of a walk away. I got lunch on the way and then did some more book shopping. And if you have any interest in seeing more inside the bookshops, I have a couple of shorts up on my channel, but I also post over on Instagram, and I'll have links to that in the description box so you can see little mini vlogs from my trip to New York if you're interested. So this bookstore I had never been to before. It was another smaller store that had floor-to-ceiling books with piles everywhere, which I absolutely love. I thought the prices were pretty fair. The only thing that kind of made me a little uncomfortable in that store was that I felt like me browsing at the books got in the way of the employees working. I had to be constantly moving back and forth for the employees walking up and down these small, narrow aisles, and when I'm in a bookstore, I kind of want to just plant myself there and spend my time browsing the books, but I felt like I was in the way. So keep that in mind if you go. I did pick up a Europa while I was there. This is Baba Danja's Last Love by Alina Bronsky. This is another very short book. Again, I didn't know anything about this, but I'm exploring Europa editions this year. And it says, government warnings about radiation levels in her hometown in the Ukraine be damned. Baba Danja is going home. And one by one, her former neighbors decide to join her. So, sounds very interesting. Again, perfect for Shorty September, so hopefully I can get to it this month. I also picked up The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I saw the Broadway adaptation of this, was it last November, I think? And I thought, you know what, it's time I read the whole book, because this is one of those novels that was assigned reading in high school, and I think I read like the first couple of chapters and then gave up. And to my surprise, this is a very short book, and I made sure it says complete and unabridged. So I picked up this copy. I've been looking for a copy of this book for a while, and I actually haven't had much luck in finding one, and this one was only $2.95, so I figured I'll give this one a go. And then I also picked up Territory of Light by Yuko Tsushima. It is translated by Geraldine Harcourt. Really nice, simplistic cover here. And this one is a Japanese novel, which I tend to enjoy exploring. And it says, it's spring, a young woman is left by her husband and starts a new life in a Tokyo apartment. It follows her over the course of a year as she struggles to raise her 2-year-old daughter alone. So definitely sounds quite interesting. And again, it's on the shorter side. This one is under 200 pages, and it came with a bookmark in it, which I love about used books. And this one is from McNally Jackson Books, which is another bookstore in New York City, so I thought that was funny. And then the last book that I got from Mercer Street Books was another Europa Editions. This one is by Jane Gardam. She wrote the Old Filth trilogy, which I read this year. I have a full non-spoiler series review if you'd like to learn more about that series. I overall really enjoyed it, so I saw another book from her there and decided to pick it up. This one, I believe, is a story of a girl on the verge of womanhood, so that's always something I am interested in. So I'm glad to pick this one up and continue exploring Jane Gardam, because she's written a lot of books, and she recently passed away this year. So me having randomly discovered her this year and getting to enjoy her writing is interesting timing. And then finally, I went to Kinokuniya, which I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's a Japanese bookstore. It's in the Bryant Park area. So again, right outside of Times Square, very walkable if you're in the theater district. And they sell new books. Plus they have a ton of stationery products in the basement, which I love. And I always buy stuff for my mom there because she loves paper goods. And then if you like anime stuff and manga, they have tons of that as well on the 3rd floor. But in the new book section, you guys know I don't buy new books a lot, but I'm allowing myself to buy 5 new books this year. I bought 2 in Maine. I have a 3rd that I pre-ordered and will be here later this month, and I thought I'm going to treat myself to a 4th because I see this book every time I go to this bookstore. It looks so cute. It looks right up my alley, and I treated myself. It is Will Prescribe You a Cat by Syou Ishida, translated by E. Madison Shimoda. Look at how adorable this is. I love cats, so I definitely was suckered in by this really cute cover. I don't know anything about this story, but I would love to be prescribed a cat. So we'll see how this goes. I think this looks like a really cute, cozy book for the fall and winter time. I just noticed this little guy on the spine as well. So that's my haul. I will link all of the books in the description box if you'd like to learn more. And I will have my Instagram linked below. I have a main Instagram, Adventures in Polishland, that has all of my mini vlogs from my trip, and it also has like my lifestyle content, like beauty, nail polish, and more. And then I have a book Instagram as well, so those have more in depth on the books I read, as well as bookstore tours whenever I go to a bookstore. I hope you all are doing really well. I hope if you're participating in Shorty September, you're having a great time. I should be finishing the 500-page Stephen King book that I've been reading today, and then I'll move on to some shorties to wrap up the month. So make sure to subscribe if you want to learn more about the books that I'm reading, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.